because I was going through Blaze Blue, and I I realized that when going through Chrono Phantasm, there were way too many cutscenes, so I just sat down and enjoyed myself. And everybody's like, "Why aren't you watching the anime?" And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up! I'm trying to watch Blaze Blue. I'm trying to watch a different anime that's not really anime."
So going into it, I would literally told you that Blaze Blue is just a fucking it's just a visual novel. So basically, put the controller down, get something to eat, and enjoy.
So it becomes less of a visual novel by the third game, because I would say the first one is really the only one that falls under the criteria of a visual novel, because you have to play every single character's route, and then you also have to check out different endings. Calamity Trigger didn't do this very well, and then when you got to Continuum Shift, they're like, "All right, listen,
Hello, Jeremy.
there are different endings, but only one of them is correct. And if you get the wrong ending, we're going to send you to this one dimension in the boundary. Will you go back and do it?" And I'm like, that's fucking hilarious.
Bruh.
Or if you fail a scenario or fight too many times, you get help me Kokonoe.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. So the Help Me Kokonoi section is when you fail. Like you get, so if you
Is
go
it,
through a scenario, but you pick the
is
wrong
it every
ending,
time? Oh, I'm trying
so
to
it's
remember.
every time you get the wrong ending.
No,
Because
I'm
there's
trying
a
to
guaranteed
remember.
ending each one.
No, I'm trying to remember if it's every time she roasts you for getting the wrong ending, or if it's only certain ones.
So like let's say you have two dialogue options for Hakumen, only one of them is correct, and that correct one will be correct every single time, no matter what. But if let's say option A is the correct one, if you pick option B, you will always get sent to the Help Me Kokonoe section, and she will lambast you each time. Also, Hakumen's section was really fucking hilarious because Kokonoe is like, "Yeah, well, you're here because this people get here when they make a mistake," and he's like, "Are you implying?" What was he saying? Like, Gromoken, do you have the audacity to say that I made a mistake? And she's like, "Yeah, well, no
Rude.
shit, you made a mistake. Why else would you be here?"
Do you like the fact that you have Jin and Hakumen voiced by the same guy who does Green Gal?
Yes. So I've noticed something weird in the distortion for Hakumen's voice. Are they like weirdly changing it between the second and the third game? Because it feels like they just wanted him to sound exactly like Jin, and then by the third game they're
So
like, "All right, fuck it. I mean, we're revealing he's Jin
for
anyway.
Chrono
We'll
Phantasma,
just distort it so much it doesn't sound like him at all."
for Chrono Phantasma, they
I'm
add
sorry, what?
a little. For Chrono Phantasma, they put a little bit of a filter on, so it sounds more like somebody speaking through armor.
Yes.
So you like the anime, Newhin? I'm gonna try and watch
Who
it
has
tomorrow.
stronger verse? Blaze or Guilty Gear? I don't skill Guilty Gear. Just
That
finished watching Netflix show, bro. Dante steals it. No wonder they had to physically remove him out of the plot, otherwise it would have overshadowed a lady with Enzo as his pal. I would respectfully disagree with that. I mean, Dante does great in the action scenes, but I wouldn't say he steals the emotional weight of the show, or actually even all the action scenes. White Rabbit over there was kind of fucking peak.
took me 3 hours. How many episodes is it?
Hey, and it should take you longer than 3 hours. They're half an hour apart, or at least like 19 minutes.
Well,
Yeah,
is it like a
unless you
22-minute
skip
thing?
scenes. No, it's 30, man. I mean, yeah, there's like 2 minutes of credits and like a 1 minute opening, but like even then, it'd still be like 25 minutes. It's
Uh,
pretty good. The final was shit. I don't want to have a second season. Then it would be relatively short. It took 3 minutes to go through everything.
I have not seen it yet. I will make my decisions
I think the
tomorrow.
finale was fine.
I'm just not exactly excited about the fact that Arya shows up at the end, because think it's a little too soon for that, but I trust this. It'll make sense in the story.
Sorry, Manly, but the White Rabbit was shit for me. Only works in the context of the series. You get him out of the games, and he doesn't work at all. I completely disagree. I think you're objectively wrong. The White Rabbit contributes nothing to the plot of DMC3's manga. He's just there to be a guy that he has the same role he has in the show, except in the show he's an actual character. In the manga, he's a joke. He's only there to be killed by Virgil. He literally does nothing valuable for the plot of the manga at all. You could take him out, and it would mean nothing. You would lose nothing. You take the White Rabbit out, and the entire show doesn't have a plot.
What's going on? Well, I'll have to decide for myself once I get there.
Hmm. Yeah, but I was spending all the time going through Chrono Phantasm, so that's why. I actually found out, funnily enough, you guys know how I keep running into the problem where I can't stream my games, but I only figure this out when I make plans to stream them, and then I stream them, and then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So that happened with Chrono Phantasm, but I had already gotten through the story because I was too impatient to try to get through it than to wait for a stream. So
Did you go through all three story scenarios where you did Section 6 and you did
I did Section 6, the 6 Heroes, and Chrono Phantasm. I didn't do the extend stories. I still have to do those, but I did all the stuff for the main story.
Yes,
And
he was a bit weird. I thought he'd be asleep.
well, you still have to do Remix Heart as well.
I don't, because I read the manga. And Remix Heart just adapts the manga. But I'll go through it if there's anything else. I mean, I technically, if I really want to be like this, I didn't actually have to read the 6 Heroes because I read Phase Zero, which is what the 6 Heroes is. It just adapts the story of the novel, Phase Zero. But Phase Zero is the more in-depth director's cut version. Or is it Shift Zero or whatever?
Save King Richard, Asbel.
Yes, sir. Wait a minute, Asbel. Before we proceed, I need to tell you something.
What is it?
Alright, Mango's back. Yeah, I'm somewhat back.
I will save Richard.
Mango, you gaslighting. They didn't say the White Rabbit of the manga was better. Also, Mango just moved the plot, but he loses it as the show goes on. He gets worse in the final match. I disagree. He doesn't lose it at any point. He's compelling throughout every point. And I'm not gaslighting at all. You said he was that he was shit for you, and he only works in the context of this. It's a series. You get him out there in the games, and he doesn't work
shit,
at
she
all. Like
actually
it's
hugged
just not true. It's just not true in the case of the story.
I'll do everything I can to stop him.
He doesn't even really work in his original source material
I promise.
because he's not even like a plot device or anything. He's just a middleman, which any person can service the purpose of.
We just saw fucking Peak right now, and no one cares because they're talking about the fucking anime. We waited. How many hours have we been playing this game?
Killing? Night? Yeah. No, he really was compelling. He had he was an intelligent antagonist. He planned out everything ahead of time. He was ahead of the heroes and the protagonist one step at a time. I know, like 5 steps at a time. He had an interesting backstory. Good voice acting, amazing action scenes. He was brutal, intelligent, and cunning. Yeah, he was everything you need for a good, well-written villain.
Kyle, did you watch
Whereas,
this
like,
on
if I were to
Netflix,
tell
or did
you,
watch it somewhere else?
It's much bigger than I imagined.
Did you watch the DMC anime on Netflix or somewhere else?
you really have to ask them that question.
Well, I'm asking because in case my Netflix account doesn't work, I need to know if he has a solution for me.
Oh, of course.
Oh, that's what this was about.
Of course I have it. You shit.
Are you talking about Blaze Blue? I was talking about Blaze Blue initially.
Alright, Kyle, I'm glad I can always count on you. Holy shit!
So-
What happened to his outfit?
Have you watched the Nintendo Direct,
Oh.
Mangler? I heard about it, and I was
became a
told
hot
information about it.
He's
I'm not happy.
He's
He's
naked!
rude!
What happened to you?
Sorry, Mangler.
Neil and I have a new villain idea. I'll keep you posted.
Kyle, no.
Are you Richard or not?
Don't be fooled by what you see. That creature is Lambda.
No, and we're just gonna have to agree to disagree at this point because I feel like you were watching a completely different show, like just actually a completely different show, not even the same one I watched, or you just weren't paying attention. You just turned your brain off.
Wait, you have to listen to me.
Asbel, look out!
Holy shit, Asbel dodged you. Doing so much.
Please listen.
Who's this lady with the? Oh wait, no, that's a dude. Who's this guy with the angel wings?
I don't know, he's kind of a bitch. You might have been right the first time.
Did I call him a bitch?
No?
Oh wait, no, never mind.
Who's the green haired chick? Someone we picked up on the Lost Planet.
So I when I was streaming last time, I
He has the
turned on
smile.
Chrono Phantasm, set up. It was live streaming, and then I went to play the story scenario, and then as soon as I clicked on it, the broadcast turned off. It didn't turn off completely, but it stopped broadcasting the actual cutscenes. And I was like, oh, okay, so I can't record. Oh no. But I was fine with that because I had already finished the story. I just thought that was funny because the one game where I was like, oh, I want to broadcast this for people, but I was too impatient. I went through the story. Oh, it's actually a good thing that I did that because I wouldn't have been able to show them anyway.
Oh, how do you feel about how annoying fighting fucking Mikazuchi is?
Oh my god, don't remind me. That was fucking painful, especially when I realized that they nerfed Noelle's movement from continuum shift. She can't do some of the like tuck and roll things that she can do, so I had to just jump and like spin and do like a revolver barrel like 50 fucking times. I'm like, oh my god, I'm doing no damage.
And
I'm doing no damage. I was like, thank god I got Jin. Jin carry.
I'll definitely have to check it out tomorrow then. Seems like everyone has I've seen people either like it or dislike it, so we'll see how it goes. Because I think most people in the server didn't seem to like it.
Didn't say like what?
Then
Oh,
the
the
Bayonetta power scaling reaction video. So, oh wait, hang on. There was a cutscene.
I thought you were actually reading Red Dust's question.
Red Dust, it's not that expensive to go into membership. The reason I don't want to make it public is because I don't want to have a debate with the guy. I know someone else who's trying to debate him, and fuck, after that video, I don't want to. The man actually claims Omniversal Bayonetta, and is like, oh, so she's like above baseline Omniversal because it's because of Azir and fucking. It's the same argument we've seen before about the layers of the multiverse, but that's not how it works.
Oh wait, is that the same video that I reviewed the other day?
It might be.
Oh boy. No, it definitely is based on what you're describing. Like, I actually sat in a VC with someone and was going over it.
Did the video have a comment saying that she folds, or does it have a thumbnail saying she folds Dante?
Yes, it does. And the guy Wait, what happened?
That bitch!
That is enough, Protos haste.
Why are
Hang on, maybe I should. Oh no.
Mutual.
So for Sophie to destroy Lambda, she has to blow herself up. Sophie, no.
No, she.
Sophie, you okay?
But yeah.
Why?
It's like $2 to join it, but I can tell you right now, it's
Trying to annihilate Lambda.
I didn't get too many direct scans to go with it.
You're the one who
I did talk directly in detail about a lot of stuff that was on there because there was a lot to talk about. But I mean, I admit at the end of the video, if you believe Bayonetta's omniversal, yes, she would in fact beat Dante because there's no sane person who would argue for omniversal for their fucking character.
But that is no longer necessary.
I think what he was actually arguing was outerversal, but
Oh right, omniversal.
but
Slip
I
of
don't-
the tongue.
Just to destroy.
well, he said it was like high outerversal. So basically, his argument came down to the fact that he just thought like he just assumed every time something was presented as a part of the cosmology, it was infinitely transcending the previous part of the
Yes.
cosmology
Holy shit.
to the point where he was like.
Go on.
Wow, did she actually just absorb
To the point where he was like, yeah, there's like levels and layers to Paradiso and Inferno. I'm like, what the fuck are you? Where are you getting this information?
And
And
so fucking much.
Knowledge and Lambda's
No, me and him were talking about.
bro, this is where it got better. Like he was like Paradiso is infinitely above Inferno. It's like, how can you believe that? They're at war with each other.
I
How are they even fighting then?
So me and Dim were talking about this a few streams ago, where it's like, when you analyze Bayonetta's fucking power scaling, like, and its cosmology, and Frey does not help it whatsoever. Frey makes it almost definitive that like she almost definitively capped like Uni Plus until Frey.
time you were just using us to get Lambda's power and the Elith from our
Jim Woo versus Death from Darksiders. Only one with skills, Jim Woo. But yeah, I would make it public, but I really don't want to deal with the guy coming after me to do reactions and a whole debacle like that. It's like $2 for the membership, Red Dusk. Actually, it might not even be $2. It might be 99 cents. Hang on, let me check.
You wouldn't have to worry about that. That guy is not. Even if he did, I've actually seen someone go and try to debate him in the small period of time after he released that video. And what I understood was just a guy that was. He's just one of those people who like to jump people in the VC. So not like he's not very.
No. I'm not under the impression he'd be good at debating. Oh, never mind. $3.99 is the lowest. My bad. Why the fuck did I make it $3.99? I can't change the price.
And you
Or-
are nameless bit players.
Money.
No, Emerald. Because we will
Mangler, you want to leave and rejoin?
If you prefer
Hang on.
to exit on the stage here, then witness my mercy.
Kyle, she's fucking crazy. Why'd you bring her with us?
It was fun.
My phone needs to charge.
Alright, you good. But yeah, no. It was definitely... I believe the guy earnestly believes what he's talking about. I just think what he's talking about is fucking wrong in every way, shape, and fucking form.
Yes, and you know, people who commit genocide think they're doing the right thing.
But I am.
But no, like, I think we talked about this like a couple weeks ago, where it's like, Bayonetta is super fucking weird because depending on how you want to look at it, until Free would just make it definitive that she hard capped like Uni Plus.
No, it's not even weird at all. The fucking problem is that Bayonetta fans have a fucking chip on their shoulder and have to go out of their way to try and argue for this bitch being the most powerful thing in fiction. Because he wasn't just throwing shots at fucking Dante. He threw shots at Kratos, too. And I was like, bro, if we're really going to start...
Now, hold on now, son. Maybe he's cooking.
I was there looking at the video because like I saw some shots at Kratos in the comments from the guy, and I was like, dude, listen, if you're really gonna argue for Omni or fucking Outerversal Bayonetta, you understand that Kratos has way better arguments for his Outerversal bullshit than you do by like 1.5 miles.
I think I just think it was really funny for them to argue that, especially when he was just like, well, he's got immeasurable speed and irrelevant speed. It's like, oh, what's your evidence? Like, oh, tag climax. I'm like, oh boy, you just now I know that you're a liar because you just didn't play Bayonetta 3. Like they make it clear that like angel believers. So other seer, there isn't other angel variants here. So that tag the source material.
My issue was like along the lines of like, how do you argue for an outerversal character if like your example's Lopter or AZ or Azir, but Azir there's more than one of him. There's a Azir for every version in the multiverse. Why would we assume he's multiversal?
Well, so no, there should only be one Azir because he's the one that multiverse.
No, because me and Tim were talking about this in this by all rights, because they all go through the same timeline events, which means Bayonetta 2 also fought her own Jubileus.
That's more so because Bayonetta 2 happens due to a paradox.
So remember that Bayonetta from Bayonetta 3, keep in mind she would not have her own Azir. She has the eyes of the world. You know, the eyes that belong to Azir, because she had the right
I'm sorry,
eye.
I heard part of that.
Okay, so there are multiple.
The one that were arrayed.
Bayonetta, Bayo from Bayonetta 3.
Yeah, remember.
Bayo from Bayonetta 3.
She's the child from Bayonetta 1.
No.
Yeah, she is.
No. I'm aware that she is. She wouldn't have the eye. The eye is something that needs to be bestowed upon you as the overseer.
The reason Bayonetta's eye in Bayonetta 1 activates at the end is because the eye saw itself in the past, so she got the memories from the past.
Yes.
So that Bayonetta has the eye of the world.
No, that happened for the older Bayonetta seeing herself.
Because the younger
Not
Bayonetta
the other way around.
has the eyes of the world as well.
No.
Okay,
no,
so
that
you
was not what was
understand that
explained.
Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2 Bayonettas are two different Bayonettas, right? And they both have the eyes of the world?
Yes.
So how do you explain those?
I'm aware.
Because a paradox can't
That's a paradox.
explain... No, that can't explain it because all possibilities are foreseen by Azir. Paradoxes don't work here. He created all of them.
You can paradox even if you have an infinite multiverse.
The fact remains is that there can't be two of them existing unless there's one for every or for both universes, which means there's two different
the idea of Bayonetta 2's plot is already a paradox. Like Baldur is like they're literally okay. So the reason Lopter even has the eyes is because at the end of the game he gets sent back in time to a point before Bayonetta 1 to enact a plot that already happened.
Yes.
That's already like a closed loop. That by definition is a paradox.
Yes, but the problem is that they're two separate characters in two separate universes with two separate timelines.
The example that I just gave you is a paradox even within the same timeline.
It's a paradox within the same timeline, but that would be fine because it's within the same timeline. Because this isn't including the fact that there's a second Lopter in Bayonetta 2. Because at the start of the game, the prologue is confirmed to be a separate universe, and there's a separate fucking Lopter.
So you're arguing that there are multiple Seers?
There are multiple Azirs. There have to be, because there's multiple eyes of the world, and we see Lopter in a different universe.
I don't believe that. It doesn't make sense with the context of how they present.
Yeah,
why would there be multiple Seers all presiding over the world of chaos? Doesn't make any logical sense.
Well, to be fair, the person who tells us Azir presides over the realm of chaos is technically not Azir himself. It's the secondhand writings of someone trying to interpret the cosmology. If we're really going to be technical
I'm referring to just like the direct descriptions for him.
Yeah, the direct descriptions given by someone else who wrote in a journal to try and explain the cosmology he couldn't properly understand.
I mean, every description is written from that person, and most of them are pretty accurate, so I would have to have a reason to believe they were largely like
Yeah.
not credible.
I mean,
And as far as
I'm sure they were fairly
like,
accurate, but the fact of the matter is, simply put, that fucking there's more than enough evidence for multiple Azirs to fucking exist in the multiverse because we have plenty of examples. And this is assuming that Bayonetta 3 doesn't have the right eye of the world or left eye, because I think she actually does.
she's just called the origin. We're never gonna exist. Right?
Do any of the other Bayonettas have an eye?
No, we're never shown any eyes in Bayonetta 3. Even into Purgatory. Purgatory is literally like gone from the game, even though that doesn't make any sense because witches are supposed to be trained to go into Purgatory whenever they sense danger that's going to threaten the world. They need to pop, and then Bayonetta 3 is like, yeah, actually, we just kind of forgot that shit.
Wait, Neil,
I chalk that up more so.
Is this an actual quote you hint from Lady?
Oh, that's a pretty dog shit take.
Hold on, is this actually a quote from Lady though?
He's rejecting her.
Oh no, the crazy green hair bitch was wrong about the power she was taking. Who could have guessed? Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, no. Well, I guess we'll have to disagree on that for now, Mangler. But if I end up going through Bayonetta, I'm gonna drag you kicking and screaming to accept multiple easier.
Listen. My what you were trying to point out was that you can't use tag climax because she's going through a section of the cosmology that's transported in time. We don't see her enter or leave, and she also gets sniped across time in Bayonetta 2. Like, Aesir literally hits her from point across time. Her witch time abilities and light abilities.
Through the god laying down.
Her witch abilities and her light speed abilities are a practitioner part of temporal control, which is the ability to use the flow of time to amplify your body. If you are a non-linear temporal being, why are you using the flow of time to amplify your body? How does that make sense? Why are you using the flow of time to increase your speed if your speed is superior to the flow of time itself?
You got cutscene. Yeah, no, I didn't mention that one, but that's a valid point as well. Holy shit, Richard's got a new form. Kyle. Oh, no, is it the same form? Is he just naked again?
New form, who this?
New form, who this? Oh, now he's double naked.
Zim, it seems to me like you're underestimating the power of nudity.
No, it seems to be working out well for Richard. But yeah, no. Overall, the arguments were the same thing we heard before. The problem is that the guy just presents them as fact, which is a big issue.
I love how he's like, man, it's transcending space and time, and it's just layered upon one another, which means we're now dealing with outerversal. And I had to stop the video because I was just like, I was giggling too much. I was like, man, this is just
wait. If that's his criteria,
if
that's his criteria, then Devil May Cry achieves that just through the fucking the first novel and 3.
By his logic of how to accept higher ascensions, then yeah, basically being on top of something would make you infinitely superior.
Sophie, please.
bro, by his logic, like every verse out there is like high 1B. If they use the word layer in any context.
I've layered this cake together. This cake is now a higher dimensional cake.
Oh, that's
I
pretty
hope to God no one ever makes a cookie that does involve exploring places outside the universe.
That's a pretty convenient shuttle we got there. You know, for a second I thought the game was gonna end right now. Silly me. I should have known better. Alright, so now we're in part 2 of the game. Lambda has taken over the planet.
With this journey.
Everyone okay?
It's the never-ending story.
I think so.
Yeah, his position really makes
Are you alright, Sophie? I have to destroy Lambda.
argument behind Paradiso or Inferno being on top of each other in terms of power. It's like, how do you explain the war between them? How do you reconcile the plot of Bayonetta 3? Singularity was going to blow up the entire Trinity of Realities with a snap of his fingers just by absorbing energy from the world of chaos, which you claim is the weakest realm in the cosmology.
Well, no. Actually, so this is where I think the guy messed up too, because by his logic, the world of chaos would be infinitely superior to demons, because demons will be at the bottom of the totem pole.
No. He believed Inferno was above the world of chaos.
No, he lists Inferno, the world of chaos, and Paradiso in the ascending order.
Only to carry out this mission.
To
die by destroying Lambda.
Why?
Because that's how it's shown.
Why did you have to remember something like that?
What? Oh, does he mean like visually? Because they're shown. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Because he just used the page, and he's like, "Well, they're listed in descent." Oh no. Oh no.
I always feel.
Does anyone want to point out to him that Bayonetta needs to summon demons to kill?
So to be fair, he does specify that Bayonetta's holding back most of the time because of serious mode in Bayonetta 1.
Bullshit!
But hold on.
So I think Bayonetta 3 kind of rectified all of that by establishing witches have to have enough power for demons. So you need to be powerful enough to have demons in order to strong us. It will consume your soul.
I did find interesting.
So the only reason that wouldn't be happening is because of magic power.
I do appreciate how he pointed out that Jubileus was going to like destroy everything, but I'm like, are you sure Queen Sheba just wasn't fucking around or something?
We are not giving up.
So this is where kind of a lot of disagreements with because he just did a terrible job. Like he's just like, oh well, Bayonetta is holding back all the time. I'm like, bro, you have a scan in Bayonetta. Witches are strong enough to control their demons. Why don't you just use that? Because you've got like other scans. You're pulling from Bayonetta 1. Go get the scans from the Switch. You have doing it.
No, like I mean the video was only 8 minutes long, and yeah, I made a 40-minute response video, so I guess it just goes to show how bad I am at this.
Bro, consider. You can't say that. You can't say that. He's got scans in there.
No, because considering it's 8 minutes long, like I'll never understand why power scalers keep insisting on YouTube to not just make longer videos explaining everything. Like, fuck me, bro. There's this easy way to explain the Bayo layers. The universes are like pancakes. They might be higher on top, but they all taste the same. Do you think that battle will make Master Chief win again? Depends on whether or not they have where they have Doomslayer at. Very confused. Yep. Until Bayonetta 3 disproves that too, and as Bayonetta be able to control her summons because of an amulet, the second it gets destroyed, they immediately turn on her. So, I do.
No, that's incorrect, Red Desk. Bayonetta 3 doesn't disprove that. The amulet is literally where she stores her magical energy. Like, that's literally like the core of it. So, that would, if anything, that would reinforce the position. And Bayonetta 3 is the ones that has those descriptions about summoning demons. Well, go ahead, Sim.
Am I the only one who found it kind of amusing that he does that, like, because he scales Bayonetta to Queen Sheba, but he very conveniently leaves out the description that says that no Umbran witch can summon Shiva on their own, otherwise they'll die. Very convenient. He
also left out the fact that every time summoned, it was always part of a joy. Even when she was summoned to Omni, Baldur helped Bayonetta. When she was summoned individually, he needed John's help. Then why did Gamora immediately try to kill her then? Because her amulet had broken. She was out of magic power. Okay, so what are you not understanding here? The amulet represents how much magic power she has. If it's broken, she's out of power.
So
Like, they use their magic power to bind the demon. If I exhaust your stamina, you can't control the demon anymore.
I also find it kind of funny that he says that Bayonetta ties with Singularity. No, Singularity won that fight.
That ticked me off. I was like, bro, you I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that with all the shit that I had to put up with on my hard mode attempts. When I was running through 3 of this guy, I had to do 2 Divinity Sin rituals to Kamehameha blast this motherfucker in his first phase. Second phase, I had to fight him with 1,000 other Bayonettas. Third phase, everyone in the cast had to jump him at the same time. I had to get help with other Bayonettas. We had fusion technique.
Mangler, you cut out a little bit there.
That's what I'm saying. Well, Red Dusk. If that's what you're saying, then like, I mean, we don't necessarily disagree.
I will say I'm just. Oh, go on.
No. I was talking about that.
Well, no. I was just gonna say I really just did not like how disingenuous the guy was because he made it sound like all of Bayonetta's feats were by herself. And even the examples for the casual feats she was doing, she was fighting a boss, which is her serious mode. So his examples were wrong.
Really weapon arsenal part because he started listing all of these off, but he did not bring up the fact that there were 3 different Bayonettas.
Yes, he never brings up the Bayonettas coming in to help out or anything.
Hang
on, I'm gonna leave the call rejoin, see if it's on my end. Alright, I'm back. Hello?
Hello?
Is Mangler talking or not?
He was.
The fuck? Why didn't we leave and fuck with him? God King Darius versus Madara. God King Darius should take that because Madara would even, as far as I know, Maria. As far as I know, Madara, even with the higher end scaling for Naruto, would not scale to the higher end stuff.
He would not.
Man, they're still there quiet. Hey Zim, can you put me on a timeout for like 2 minutes? I want to say something. Put user in timeout. I can put you on timeout for 1 minute or 5 minutes. So, you want me to put you on timeout for 5 minutes? Like, so the... Okay. Alright, you've been timed out for 5 minutes. We'll see you in 5 minutes, Red Dusk. So, because the versus video is taking a bit longer to do than I would like, I think I am going to do short videos going over the characters for the versus matchup, just to like have some content in the meantime, since I'm still waiting for the official translation to show up on that fucking website. So, the argument you could make about multiple characters fighting one guy is that you would still have to scale to the character in order to fight him. That would be the argument on the table. But the problem...
I hate
no.
computer.
Welcome back, Mangler.
Alright, where were we?
Well, I was talking about the fact that, well, I mean, I already pointed out how I really didn't like the fact... I didn't really like the fact that he made all Bayonetta's fights seem like they were 1v1s when they weren't. But I was gonna say that, I mean, he could still make the...
Never fought 1v1 in their life.
Kyle,
no. My biggest issue in the video, aside from, well, I didn't consider the biggest issue to talk about like the universal stuff because I just think that's a common misconception, and anyone who does that is just kind of stupid anyway. So I don't leave that too much brain power. The biggest one that I definitely think is a concern is that this is a position you can only have
if you are genuinely lying. Like, because if you've played through the games, you would have to be lying about this because you would know better. And that is saying that bringing up all of the items and equipment that Bayonetta has and giving them to all the Bayonettas. That is not true. That is not how that works. So he was bringing up Shiraba, Chernobog, and things like Love is Blue, and I believe it's whatever the third, Color My World, the weapons for Bayonetta 3 Bayo, as well as the Ribbit Libido for Bayonetta 3 Bayo. So you cannot bring those up for the various Bayos because they're only applicable for certain Bayos and not for others. Shiraba is a weapon that she gets during Bayonetta 1, and you can maybe argue that Bayonetta 2 Bayo would have it because she goes through the events of Bayonetta 1. But Bayo 3 Bayo never goes through the events of Bayonetta 1. There's no reason she would have Shiraba. She's in a completely different timeline. And in the case of Chernobog, there's no reason she would get Chernobog because she does not go to Muspelheim. And Chernobog is in Muspelheim.
Yeah. No, I think that's a bigger issue with the Bayonetta scalers nowadays because I thought they were more reasonable about this, but you can't composite Bayonetta like that anymore. You can't give her all her weapons because not every Bayonetta has them. Like, I guess you could argue for the merged Bayonetta at the end of Bayonetta 3, but technically that Bayonetta, we're not even sure if she keeps the merge, like, or keeps the power
So
of the merge.
that would be a temporary version, and to be fair, that Bayonetta swaps between each version of the Bayonettas. So she doesn't even have the full arsenal of all of them at the same time. She has to swap to a specific version. So, yeah, that's like a very limited version of a fusion.
Yeah, so I just don't really understand Bayonetta scalers these days. You know, at first they were somewhat reasonable once a long time ago, and then they just stopped being reasonable. I mean, I don't think they're. I was gonna say I don't think they're as bad as God of War scalers, but I don't know. I don't know. They're both pretty.
They probably won't ever be that bad, but there is still genuinely some lying going on. Like, there's some dishonesty going on. That chip on their shoulder for DMC is a little bit too fucking high.
I really don't understand that one.
Yeah, no, I would have just assumed that they were like just happy that, you know, they could be a spiritual successor and that they're going their own route, and like I would have no problem with that. Like I support Bayonetta as a series, but like, you know, it's really hard to do that when you keep fucking coming over here and poking in the general direction of the MC community when you don't really have a leg to stand on.
Oh, apparently we got sports or swimsuits. You know, can I just say, after seeing her dressed in the cowboy-esque outfit for so long, I'm very surprised at how much clothing Pascal's wearing.
Is that a fucking life preserver?
It is. But yeah, no. I think I might do a video, and this video will be public. It won't be members only. Probably going over why I disagree. What the fuck? But yeah, probably going over why I disagree with some of the Bayonetta scaling arguments.
Is that going to be a low edits video?
No, I don't think. Well, I mean, I don't think it'll need that much editing to begin with. It could be a decent edited video.
Zem, how many times do I have to explain this to you?
Whoa,
a low edits video.
That was being based.
Fuck, Mullet,
oh my god.
chill. Sorry, there's something going on.
A low edits video does not involve any edits at all on your part. I'm the only one that does anything in the editing section.
How dare you, Mangler? That's what I'm saying. Like, no, I could probably like actually edit the video to make it look nicer, since like it should be a good foot forward just to explain my disagreements with Bayonetta's higher end scaling. It wouldn't be that hard to just go into detail about it. I'd provide the scan, provide the fact that there's no explanation for higher dimensionality anywhere, and then just go over how you could interpret this in the same, more logical way, and it would make perfect sense. Can Persona scale that reversal by scale to SMT, right?
Fuck off, no.
Red Dusk, are you back yet, Red Dusk?
I think he's timed out for 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, but like how much time has passed?
Hang on. The 2:44. He said, "Zim, can you put me in timeout for like 2 minutes?" Let me see if I can. Hang on. I think he wanted to test something. Channel activity.
I really hope this isn't gonna be another fucking situation where I have to change his fucking role again to give him fucking the ability to chat. Oh no, there he is. He's back.
Didn't you make a recent video, even though it'd be around 1 to 2 years old, talking about why Dante versus Bayonetta doesn't work? No, we did one versus Kratos versus Dante doesn't work, but we could do one about Dante versus Bayonetta.
Damn, Sharia actually put the fucking moves on. So that's what sexy is. Asbel, what the fuck?
Balrog, can I just say that the dialogue in Blaze Blue is really fucking peak. It's the only time I've seen like an anime stereotype of like most scenes in like schools and younger audiences of people talking to each other, and it doesn't feel fake as fuck. It feels rather organic. That's very refreshing.
So,
especially the scenes between like Makoto and Noelle and like Tsubaki. It doesn't feel like, artificial. Also, Jen being a psycho all the time is really weird, but also funny.
Well, how do you like the gay geisha dude hitting on older men and being
I find that
and becoming by the women?
That he's hitting on all of them, and at the same time, he's supposed to have more knowledge than all of them because he knows about the observers. And I'm like, why do you, Yuri Lowenthal, why are you doing this? And also, why do you have so much importance in the story while not having any presence in it at all? I don't understand. I don't know what you want. I was confused, Kyle.
You sound like every character that he interacts with.
Oh. I just felt like after watching the Blaze Blue story, Yuki Terumi just feels like an angry Redditor that just never gets his way. And every time he gets close, somebody like fucks up his plans. And he just rage quits, and it's so funny. He's just so angry.
I think he has a nice comedy presence when he's with Relius.
Oh, in comedy, you mean Relius just telling him to go do something, and he's like, "I'm not your bitch." 5 minutes later, Hazama proceeding to do everything that Relius told him to do.
So I will say that while I could make a video talking about Dante Band that doesn't work, and I think we did do something to that effect, but I don't think we did exactly like that. I don't want to make a video about information and being a genuine rebuttal and poison the well by being like, I'm doing this because I think Dante beats her, you know? Like, there are genuine problems with scaling Bayonetta that high that don't need me to be like, oh yeah, this is because she can't beat Dante.
To be fair, the Dante versus Bayonetta, or the why this character versus this character doesn't work, is more of like a thematical breakdown. I mean, granted, it has other power scaling things that do need to be talked about. So I'm not gonna pretend like that doesn't exist. Obviously, there would be a good chunk of the video talking about why that wouldn't be a thing. Oh, for the God of War one, I mean, I think we spent the entire first hour or so of the first video, like the entire first video, just talking about how the God of War cosmology wasn't what it was supposed to be. And then the second video was explaining all of the resistances and hacks problems, and then eventually coming to the conclusion for the last 20 minutes that this would be a huge issue for Kratos if he had to fight Dante.
Yes. Is Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle canon or not?
No.
It's part of the Blaze Blue Cross series, which I believe is a separate spin-off series for Blaze Blue.
It's not canon because you have characters from Central Fiction who come in who should not even, by all rights, when they show up in the story.
There's also, depending on if you want to include like other characters, there's literally characters from Persona and like fucking Ruby showing up in their universe that shouldn't be there.
Also, just for direct clarity's sake, regarding the Persona question earlier in SMT, there are old data books.
Red Lightly Boy.
Oh, fuck out of here. There are old data books that seem to suggest that they are part of the same multiverse, or I believe, and people have taken that to mean that the personas that would appear in Persona would be scalable to the demons in SMT. So that is where that logic comes from. In recent years, they've kind of fallen apart in terms of connected to each other, so it's a little vague as to whether or not that still applies now. But that was a position a long time ago. Power Scalers still use it to this day because I think it hasn't been officially refuted. But
No, because Power Scalers have this bad tendency to continue to use shit even after it's been retconned.
Even though there was a better way of going about it, it's still good that Kamiya didn't bend the knees to the lesbian shipper fanatics. I'm glad he is aware that there is no pleasing these people. I think Bayonetta was confirmed to be bisexual, but that's not good enough for these people. She has to be full on lesbian. They will always want more. They don't even care about the game. I will say that Bayonetta did end up gaining a fan base that was a little more toxic as time went on because they kind of asserted their own assumptions about the character.
They unironically did what many people in the Bayonetta world attempt to do to Bayonetta. They made the same mistake that the God of War fans did. Well, not exactly the same mistake.
Also,
More like creepy, weird behavior rather than being ignorant of the world around them.
I also need to check if it's the same Madama Butterfly for all three Bayonettas or if it's a different Madama Butterfly.
Should be the same one. There aren't counterparts in Inferno or Paradiso.
Yeah, that's the same info Rodin, but that's why I need to double check to make sure. Because I think that
No, the statement for Rodin says that because he's from Inferno, he doesn't have a counterpart in the multiverse.
No, the statement for Rodin says because he's not a native of the world of chaos, he doesn't have a counterpart.
Okay, but that would imply any person who's not a native of the world of chaos wouldn't have a counterpart.
Yes, but that's why I need to check and see if there's a description in Bayo 3 confirming it's the same Madame Butterfly for all three of them. Because they look different from each other, but it's like, I mean, it could just be clothes, but like, what? Like, if they're really clothes.
Pretty sure that's probably just an art design decision.
Well, you won't mind if I take a look at the guidebook then.
Oh yeah, one of like what the 2 or 3 guidebooks we have. Yeah, be my guest.
Well, considering Bayonetta only ever has like 3 guidebooks, I think total, and one of them was a little overpriced.
Yeah, listen, bro. We when I found out there was a Prima guide for Bayonetta 1, I was happy, but I was also sad because it was also out of circulation. You can't get it anywhere. It's not possible to find it anywhere.
They just want their ship to be canon. Why care? The people that don't intend to buy the game, they are just going to wait for a video on YouTube to upload and that's it. No, some people will buy the game. I just don't think a lot of people who complained about that actually did end up buying the game. But who knows? Bayonetta 2 and 3 had like, well, almost like a 10-year hiatus, I want to say, between them.
No, 2 had only it was only like a 5 year. Bayonetta 3 though, that one had like a 10 year hiatus.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like from Bayonetta 2 to 3, it was like 10 years.
10 years, and it was announced early,
Oh, that
way
was
too early.
yeah. That was a fucking mistake.
Yeah, so that was, remember back in the day when we were all like, man, dude, Bayonetta's coming out like in the next 2 years because there's an Amazon listing. We were all getting so excited. And then like never came. It's like 2019 rolled around, guys. The Amazon listing is still there. Oh wait, maybe it's just getting updated every year. Fuck, we're never getting Bayonetta 3.
To be fair, I think what was it? The popular because I don't think they've ever talked about the behind the scenes of it officially, but I think the main theory was that when DMC5 came out, they went back to the drawing board and updated all the visuals for the game to make it look a little more realistic. I actually will say.
I am assuming.
Go on.
Well, my assumption is that they probably started development like a year and a half after Bayo 2, and they probably had some assets ready because they were already ready to do a trailer by 2017. So I had to assume they were probably going to show off some gameplay in the next 2 years. But by that point, DMC3 or DMC5 showed up with the RE engine, like brand new, brand spanking new engine, and bleeding edge technology with the end of like the next console gen. And Platinum Games was like, yeah, we can't show off this piece of shit like Switch. We need something better.
So Zoom, I'm gonna go to the toilet for a quick sec. Even his individual armor that he gets, he just can't get anything nice.
Bro, what is this, Hubert? I found.
Yeah, so
Oh, hang on. I found a character
Go
that's
ahead, go
currently
ahead.
where I am at the story is probably only peak human level, but would be lots of characters because what they got that what are they gonna do against Necrosis and Curse Stack? Go ahead. Go ahead, Mangler.
I was just gonna say that I think Bayonetta definitely deserves a way better piece of hardware. It's Bayonetta 1 basically shows that the art style of Bayonetta is something that's really unique, and I would love to see that animation more, especially with some of the visuals in Bayonetta 2. So it really disappoints me knowing that Platinum Games decided to let Nintendo basically hold their leash for all of their development and pay for some of their costs. When it would have just been easier to go find a new publisher. Like go publish one with Microsoft, or even like, at this point, go publish one with fucking Sony if you really need to, if you're that desperate, or someone. No.
Don't tell Mangler, but I found the
But like,
guide.
I have the Bayonetta 2 Prima Guide. I'm talking about Bayonetta 1 Prima Guide.
Didn't Resident Evil use the engine before Devil May Cry? I think they might have, but it was updated, I think, for DMC5.
Yeah, they had some. So DMC had 3 engines that it's used. So it had the original engine that was used for DMC 1 through 3 on the PS2. Then when Capcom moved to its 360, when it updated to the Xbox 360 games, starting with, I believe, Dead Rising, they presented the new engine known as the MT framework, and they used that for
Like 20 years.
Devil May Cry 4, and I think several of their maybe some of their, well, actually, did they use that for the Resident Evil games on 360?
MT framework, I believe, was used for Resident Evil 6.
Okay. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. And then when DMC 5 came around, or more specifically when they were doing like the RE2 like remake, and obviously DMC 5 they started their RE.
What do you get, Kyle?
He gets 4 seconds of invulnerability after 1 minute.
That's fucking dog shit, Kyle. Get out of here.
It's something. Give him something.
No, Tony. Well, so I only say that because, like, Well, Sony's not that great of a company. I would much rather Platinum Games go to Sony than go to Nintendo, because that means it'll eventually end up on PC, and that does mean that the game will actually get the proper software to run it. So that's the most important thing, is that people get actual software to do things, because developing crap for the Switch is extremely limiting, and it's very frustrating for developers.
Yeah, because it's a big. For as much as people don't want to admit this, it's a big DS.
Sony would have censored so much stuff in Bayonetta. I'm not sure what they could really censor, because I mean, Platinum Games kind of, as weird as it sounds, Platinum Games unironically does a good job of covering things up with Bayonetta, because there's never a point where you're seeing things even on her body that isn't covered up by the hair, even when she's like removing a chunk of her hair to do a summon and she's like partially naked, because they'll either blur out what's happening on her body or they'll pull the camera away at a certain angle, and that happens in the original games even without Sony. So there's not really too much censorship Sony could have applied that would have really changed anything. Though I do think Sony probably wouldn't. I mean, now that you mention it, they probably wouldn't have published Bayonetta anyway, because it would have been against their core values.
Sony's weird about how they do things for their games, because like in some areas they'll fucking censor, but then other areas they won't.
I'd be like, oh yes, you can have your Japanese teenage girl with like fucking like 1 inch thin mini skirts where you can see everything up to her legs, and that's completely fine. But you know, them boobies though, it's too much.
We might get a Bayonetta and God of War crossover. No, if Bayonetta's crossing over with anybody, it'd probably be a different Nintendo IP.
What in the world would they be crossing over with God of War for? Oh my god. That'd be wild. You imagine Kratos having to sit there talking to Bayonetta like a normal conversation?
I'm sure they get along just fine.
Also, he'd have to figure out what that object is in Bayonetta's hand before it glocks him. I was like, what is this strange artifact you wield? Must have been made by the dwarves.
Must have been made by those dwarves. Or at least the one that's left, because the other one died because I couldn't save him, so he hates me forever.
No, she pulls out the scythe and she's like, this is actually one of my more favorite weapons. It's like, oh, yeah, so where did you get this? I got this from the mountain Fimbulventer. It's like, oh, so you've been to the Norse Pantheon. She's like, I don't know what that is. No, it's actually the mountain where the god of chaos resides. Like, oh, gods? Did someone say God? You know, we need an unironically we need a meme version of Kratos in the lore where he just has. I think we need to spam post Santa Monica Studios until they create a new version of Kratos that has like a PTSD attack every time he hears the word gods, and he just flies into a rage, going like Zeus. But it's like
it's like an allergic reaction, the way you would see someone do like a seizure or something, except he's just going into a berserker state and his eyes are turning like white and you just see the insides of his soul. That's I just think that would be really funny.
Did King Richard intentionally merge with
Oddly specific, but funny.
Who would allow something so horrible to happen to themselves?
Lambda must be manipulated.
That's why it's necessary for me to eradicate.
Don't fucking yawn.
Oh my god, I'm getting it from you too. No.
You know, he was a little
I'm-
faster than me, but I thought it first.
I don't know. It's 3 a.m. where I'm at. What's your excuse?
Oh no, Kyle, he's hitting you with those facts!
Shut up. It's late here.
Hello from Delray Beach, Florida. I've never been there. Well, actually,
Basically, Red Dust is saying it's like 4.
I might have been
It's
there.
like 4 or 5 a.m. where Red Dusk is at. Kyle, why don't you enlighten the crowd? What time is it in Australia right now?
Well, at your ass. That's what time it is.
Alright, so we're gonna look it up right now. So you guys remember how Kyle said it was late where he's at? No! No! Kyle, no! You did not fucking say that shit with a straight face! Oh man. Alright, Mangler, you wanna know what time it is where Kyle's at right now? You wanna know what time it is where it's late right now for Kyle? It's 6 o'clock in the afternoon. 6:13 p.m. That's what's late for Kyle. Kyle, has the sun even set in Australia yet?
Yes.
Alright, guys.
I don't know if I believe him.
I just googled it right now. You know, let's look up the sun has set in Sydney, Australia.
You want me to take a photo of the window?
No.
Listen, if I see even a glimmer of light, your ass is grass.
Okay, you know what? He is right. But the sun set 20 minutes ago, so it's barely set. Actually, there might still be some sunlight. Kyle, send the photo.
There is no sunlight.
Prove it then. Show the evidence.
Ah,
And
God, you're such a bitch.
and to prove you're taking the picture, I want you to put the OK sign in the picture to show that it's not a different picture.
because I.
Oh, actually, so while Kyle's doing that, Kyle, if you can still hear me, so I went to go do my taxes, right? When I walked in, my tax agent had a replica model of Aragorn's sword. I think Isildur's sword after it was reforged. Like it had
Nice.
it had the elvish markings on the hilt and everything. I asked him if I could grab it. I started unsheathing it, and it had the elvish markings because I believe it's elvish for Isildur's sword. In like the actual sword, like it had the actual markings and everything. He's like, yeah, I got it from Temu for $100. And I'm like, damn, that's a good $100.
I might see if I can find that replica.
So to be fair, it's not welded together. Oh.
I'm not gonna swing it.
God, yeah, holy shit! I fucking hate you even more now.
It's dark out.
No, it's not. Mangler, did he send you the picture or no? Hang on, I'm saying this to Mangler. If he has...
What picture?
Hang on.
It's dark. What are you talking about?
Okay, Mangler. So am I tripping, or can you see some light over there in the sky? I'm seeing a not totally dark sky out there, and Kyle doesn't live in Las Vegas.
It's not sunlight.
Uh-huh. Is Mangler the one typing or is Kyle typing? Because I feel like Mangler's enhancing the fucking picture. Oh, it's fucking funny. Oh yeah, I'm still reading Sakamoto Days. It's pretty good. I think of the newer mangas, I think it's probably one of the better ones I think that I've read. It's a nice blend of slice of life and like serialized. Or
Yeah,
not
there's
ser-
no light there, but he's not even pointing it at like an actual picture
No, that's fine.
or an actual
Also, Kyle,
window.
are you really telling me that every time you stream, you're just lying on your bed? Probably got your back propped up by the pillow. Maybe even got your head on the pillow, propping up your neck. No wonder you're always fucking yawning at fucking so early.
I just wanted to say that I'm happy.
No, my head is on the headrest on the back part of the bed.
If you had sacrificed yourself, we wouldn't be able to talk like this. Just think
That's how I can tell when it's time to go to sleep on the weekend. Because I'll start bashing my head against it, and then I realize it's time to go to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, once
Damn.
someone dies, they're gone. You can't talk to them or tell them stupid jokes or.
I've never shown you my room, have I? It's very minimalistic.
I've seen it through several pictures because I think when you sent me the swords, I saw it. Is it if Base Mordekaiser sends you to Brazil, then does Project Mordekaiser send you to Vegas? Project Mordekaiser sends you to Techno Brazil.
See, my room is 50% bed, 50% TV.
If you all died, I would be sad.
I believe it. As if that's any better. Is Sakamoto Days scale the building level plus an AP and FTL and speed? So, I'm not 100% sure on the FTL at the moment. We did get another laser in the manga that Sakamoto couldn't dodge. And the other guy couldn't either when Sakamoto set up an arena to bounce shit around. But it did act more. It did act like a laser. So might come back later on.
He literally, when he fights the deer-headed man in the anime, it's confirmed that he has a laser in his mouth and he dodges it point blank.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but if that's an anime only line, why are you okay with that, but you're not okay with other anime only things?
Because I haven't edited it.
So then when you edit it, if that line's not there, are you going to concede it's not a laser?
Yes, I'll get rid of it.
Suspicious.
What's a Sakamoto Day?
It's this anime about a retired hitman who fucking doesn't know when to leave well enough alone. As for building level 1 AP,
So it's like the Jason Statham of animes. Just one job.
I will say,
Mate.
I feel like it is building level 1 AP. Kyle, it's 4 a.m. for Red Dusk, and it's gonna be 4 a.m. for Mangler soon. For fuck's sake, can you at least fucking try to hide your fucking yawn?
No, I go to bed at 10 and I wake up at 4.
Then you still have 3 hours before you go to sleep then.
What's your point?
I'm bad at feelings.
Oh, she's bad at feelings. She's just like Kyle.
You're not bad at feelings. You just have a hard time telling people what you really think.
Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta look up some. I have to look up some videos on the Last Faith.
In the same way.
You just have to talk.
Then he'll be all right. You just have to
That way,
talk to
you
him.
can find out why he feels like
That way, you can find out why he feels the way he does. Do you know what I mean?
But Sharia, you don't do that.
Hey there, are you guys still talking?
Let's see.
Asbel,
Sophie needs to talk to you right now. If you don't mind.
Sophie needs to talk to you right now, if you don't mind.
So leaks for Donkey Kong Bonsai have been exposed. Apparently, a younger-looking Pauline or her relative is going to be in the game. Are we finally gonna reconcile the backstory that Mario owned Donkey Kong's grandfather and had him in a circus and made him suffer?
We're not we don't that
Well,
that doesn't.
we don't talk about that. That doesn't exist.
Hey there.
You're about to get the banana glamour.
Sharia. She said that I had to talk to you.
She did? I swear. Sharia, I swear.
Asbel, do you think that we are the same?
Is that what Sharia said?
Mojo plays or Gaming Mojo?
Yeah, I guess we're kind of the same. We both make up.
I think it's pronounced Watch Mojo.
No, because they have different things.
You're the only one who can destroy Lambda.
I have not even seen this.
To pull it off anyway. And without you having to die.
It's probably garbage, but I'll react to it and then post it in members only. But I'll watch it later.
You have so much life left.
Oh yeah, because Watch Mojo's gonna fucking come and debate you.
And that's why you can't.
Yeah, but I've had members for a while, and like I don't really give them any reason to be members, so I should at least start making some member exclusive content.
I mean, that makes sense, right? I'm sure there are all kinds of things.
I'll make a video with live reactions, but then on a different stream I'll talk about like my overall thoughts on it.
There are some things that I would like to see.
Yeah, I'll make a post talk about it later because some people ask me to react to things, so I might just make it to where like, hey, if you become a member, you can ask me to react to certain videos, and like I'll just react to them on members only. Because part of the reason I don't react to videos from other power scalers anymore these days is because I just don't want to deal with the headache. And when you make a video public like that, it becomes a headache.
For yourself.
That's why you can't die. All of these things are waiting.
So that's why you can't die yet. We're just getting started. Your life
Thank
and
goodness.
ours.
I thought you were angry at me.
Thank goodness.
Well,
I thought you were angry
Sharia
at
said
me.
that you get angry when you're sad.
Well,
Sharia said that you get angry when you're sad.
I'm glad that you weren't really angry.
well, yeah, I guess that I do.
I want you always.
I'm glad that you weren't really angry. I want you to always be happy.
I found the numbers Dante video you should totally react to. It is garbage. They're not real hidden secrets. It's just that things that any surface level casual fans will find out. That's what I figured. Because there are secrets in DMC, but most people don't realize those are secrets. Or don't realize what those secrets are.
Okay, come on. We should get
Let's
back.
go, alright?
Before they send out a search party for us.
Okay.
So, let's
What, like the two shadow secret room that's absolutely cancer to do?
Okay.
Probably.
Okay, we're all here. Let's start by establishing what we know.
So, what's
Path is open, and his powers have
We
grown.
should assume that
He has no
Lambda is
reason
already
to
after
wait.
Lestalia.
Then this
The
is our
path
last
is
chance to
open,
stop him.
and his powers have grown.
If he manages to
He
fuse
has
with the
no
core,
reason to wait.
Well, I
Then
think
this is
we know
our
where we
last
stand.
chance to stop him. If he manages
Next
to fuse
question.
with the core,
Do we possess the strength? I think we know where we stand. Without sacrificing Sophie. Next question. Do we possess the strength to
This
defeat
whole
Lambda?
time I thought we were fighting
Without
Richard.
sacrificing Sophie, of
So
course.
it's possible we didn't go all out when we fought him
This
before,
whole time
you know?
I thought we were fighting Richard. So it's
But I
possible we
think
didn't
I
go
have an
all out when we
idea.
fought him
Damn, Pascal's really being like, yeah, we were actually holding back because he's a member of the family. But now that we know that the family's not the threat, we're about to fucking murder him.
Well, maybe we can do it again. And then
I hate my internet so much.
might be possible.
Pain.
Regardless, we must prepare ourselves for the worst
I
case
understand
scenario.
that pain.
That I was not happy
let it come to that.
when the Nintendo Direct announced Donkey Kong.
I would say you guys.
Because as a person that's been around,
Before we leave, going to the last
well, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you guys should be happy. The new Nintendo Switch is on the way. You guys like Nintendo games and consoles, right?
His mind will overwhelm us.
No, I was not happy that they were charging $90 for their console games, which is kind of a crime considering they're not getting better.
Well, it's also kind of a crime that they're pretty much sort of voice acting most of their games aside from the Pokemon ones, which is the ones that need it the most, seeming that they've tried to make them full-fledged JRPGs now.
Yeah. Is garbage and
Yeah. I was also going to say that it's as a Donkey Kong fan, it's kind of something appalling to see them basically make a open world Breath of the Wild style game. Like, what fucking Donkey Kong fan is going to be excited for that? Like, I know Donkey Kong fans are excited to have a new game at all, but this is what Nintendo does to you guys. They starve you for decades, like a whore, and then the first bit of like sustenance that you get obviously tastes the greatest, but in reality, it's not something that's very healthy for you. You're getting a Donkey Kong game that isn't a real Donkey Kong game. It's an open world game that it's probably going to have very, very little platforming based on the fact that it's 100% destructible. Donkey Kong was a fast action platformer that was like 2D, not a 3D open world.
I ain't gonna lie, fellas. I'm gonna be spending $8 for Donkey Kong. My wall's gonna be hurting. Fucking Donkey Kong.
Rest in peace for your wall, then.
Fucking Nintendo fans.
Is there something special about
Is there something special about the meadow?
Wait,
All
there's
3
something.
types of
Jeez.
There are really
Some
places like
areas
that?
tend to just overflow with
Wait, is
elephants.
something like that
I
unusual?
really should watch the Book of Eli at some point.
Some areas tend to just overflow with elephant stuff.
Why?
It all makes sense.
Because
now.
it's a good movie.
That's why-
Because I already know the twist, but apparently the twist wasn't like obvious in the movie.
Atlanta ages ago, I decided to sleep there in order to regenerate the Ellis I lost in the battle.
They're giving Donkey Kong the Banjo and Tooie treatment.
Came along and woke you up 7 years ago.
That's tragic.
Correct.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know about the Book of Eli, it's the story of a guy in a post-apocalyptic wasteland who's trying to deliver a package dealing with like the remnants of humanity. But he always wears sunglasses throughout the movie.
Isn't he just delivering the
literally a
last
side
copy?
character in Fist of the North Star.
Yes, North American Fist North Star. Go ahead, Mangler.
Wait, hang on. Isn't he just delivering the last copy of the Bible, or am I mistaken?
Yeah, he is. He's delivering the last copy of the Bible. But what makes
I'll ban it.
Well, wow, Kyle. But what makes the movie sort of like have a twist at the end is that the Bible's in Braille because he can't see. So in the whole movie, we're following a blind guy walking through the wasteland trying to deliver the Bible to someone who can read it so they can translate it into a language people can read.
I'm sorry, but that sounds like the greatest practical joke I've ever done.
That sounds like the end of a Monty Python film.
Well, okay, so he can read it because he's fucking blind.
No. But you understand that sounds like the greatest fucking joke I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's wild.
Isn't that literally just Death Stranding?
Okay.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. After I beat Cyberpunk, absolutely doing a Death Stranding stream, 100%.
Giving us the power we need. Face Lambda.
Okay,
Oh,
we should be ready now.
Finally.
so if you just gave us all a power up.
We need to face Lambda in our final showdown. If we use it wisely,
Nice.
there will be no need for Sophie to be sacrificed.
I now had to turn on my Xbox to fix this
We're all
problem.
in this together, Sophie. So just promise that you won't do anything foolish.
There we go.
All right.
You don't have the right to be talking about being starved for content. I actually do, because DMC fans aren't starved for content. You literally got a special edition a year after you got DMC5. You got POC immediately afterwards, and it's had non-stop content updates. You had Visions of V for the entire time between DMC5 and after DMC5 special edition, which DMC5 was an entire year's worth of marketing, preceded by an additional novel, and now you have an anime. Games and an actively supported community over and over and over again. Its own state margin. Not starved for shit. You want to see a starved fan base? Go look at the Dino Crisis fans. They're literally extinct. Don't just say that because they just haven't had a game. The most they got was Exoprimal, but even that satisfied their urges.
Exoprimal? Bro, don't even fucking joke like that.
Bro, I played Exoprimal. I'm not even a Crisis fan.
I'll kill you. Everyone will be sleeping during that? No. Fuck! You fuckers don't like half the games I fucking stream. I don't even want to fucking hear it.
I have to look up a video on the last Faith because I need to figure out how to... I made the mistake of getting another Metroidvania and...
Why are you talking like that? I mean, it's cute, but it's freaking me out a little. It's how Hubert talks.
Why are you
Dad
talking
and I
like
did the
that?
same thing.
I mean, it's cute, but it's freaking me out a little. It's
So,
how Hubert talks.
if you're on
I
love
thought if
with
I
us,
did the
though,
same thing,
can't
you'd
you
be
just
more
tell
likely to
me?
answer. Sherry,
Why don't you
if
hear
you're in
the
love
house the
with
captain
Asbel,
just told
why don't you just tell me? Where did you hear that? The
Damn.
captain just told me yesterday.
I heard a scream. What's going on?
This doesn't involve you, Asbel. Get out of here.
Why? What did I do now?
She loves him, but she's angry. Is that what she meant about people being angry because they're sad? Feelings are difficult.
I know what you're thinking, Sharia. The more human-like
Oh, I was
she becomes,
thinking it all.
the more difficult her behavior can be to handle.
No, that's not what I was thinking at all.
And fan art and fanfiction, yeah. Noctis versus Bayonetta. It's good. So it's gonna depend on scaling more first and foremost, and which version of Bayonetta you're using. Because technically, even if you believe Bayonetta has a healing factor, Noctis should be able to nullify it. Because I would just flat out argue Arden has a better healing factor than Bayonetta did.
Let's rest up. Meet in the square tomorrow morning. Sleep if you can.
Since we literally see Arden being frozen solid, Noctis breaks Arden into pieces, and then Arden regenerates in like the span of 5 seconds to talk shit to Noctis after breaking him in two. The best argument you can make for Bayonetta is that she'd have time manipulation.
Now, Zim.
But that's also debatable whether or not that would work on Noctis. What?
Now, Zim, read that. Tell me if that's telling the truth.
It has to be. It says it's the final battle. It has to be the truth.
Ugh. I have died.
Could you stop dying?
No.
Oh, Mango, that's bad for you. Oh yeah, One Piece's anime is coming back. Can't wait to see those fucking fights animated.
Has the remake got a release date yet?
No.
Can't sleep, Hubert?
I could ask the same of you. But as you're here, there's something we should talk about. When this is over, I'm going to ask the president of Strata to withdraw his forces from Lant. If he agrees, you will become the Lord of Lant in both name and deed.
Can the Ring of Lucii work on Bayonetta? Yeah, I don't think Bayonetta... Well, I guess she does have some resistance to soul manipulation. I'd have to double check the Ring of Lucii for what it does specifically. No,
does she though?
No, she does.
Because any soul attack done to a number in which like fucks them really badly.
No, because the scythe she wields, I think directly like saps the soul of the user, and she can use it. Now, of course, the better position to argue is that if you could hit Bayonetta's soul out of her body, she can't resist that, but she could resist like soul draining theoretically. Let me check and see. I have the guidebook right here, actually. Let me just move my 2B and 9S plushies.
Sleep well, Hubert.
Because that has a statement a grown-ass man should be saying.
If everyone else is asleep.
Yes, because we were all under the illusion you're so manly.
Fuck you, Kyle.
Hubert, what are you doing here?
Is it wrong for a son to visit his mother?
No.
And goes to bed singing fucking the Village People's Macho Man.
Bruh.
Tea would be wonderful.
Good. I'll go prepare some right away.
Thank you, Mother.
Oh, what the fuck? Man, the artwork for Final Fantasy 15 is actually fucking goated. Let me see if I can fucking find a description for the Ring of Lucii in here. I'm trying to be quick about it.
About rings?
Yes, the Ring of Lucii. Oh yeah, actually Noctis can move in frozen time. I forgot about that. Arden stops time during the train battle, which is so fucking weird.
Oh, I was actually gonna say I started playing again, and I forgot that they added Clive to the game, and I ran into him in a game, and oh boy, I don't know if Clive is supposed to have that many weapons on his.
Clive has a lot of weapons.
What?
Clive has a lot of weapons.
Yeah, he had like it was kind of hard. There was magic coming out of his hammer. There was wolves constantly attacking me, and he basically was turning into like a demon halfway through the battle. Like there's so much pixels hitting the ground every time. I honestly felt like I was just being attacked by Azazel. But if Azazel was trapped in, you know, character's body, so you know, like, way more terror.
Yes.
It's complicated.
Yeah, he did not feel fair. The cost and it was very fair. All she had was a little baby rocket launcher.
So, yeah, you could say I'm sad about that. I guess I'm better at solving other people's problems than dealing with my own.
One thing I've come to is Ku Kaline's bull could actually count as something you are from JoJo? Really?
Kukulin's gay
Is the
bulge
dog actually talking?
so weird.
Yeah, so we have to make sure we survive.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, he's talking about Record of
What did you say?
Ragnarok.
No, he's talking about he's talking about Fate.
I know. I'd like that too.
I don't know if there's a character in Record of Ragnarok.
Get some sleep.
What about you?
I'll sleep soon.
The Kukulane he's referring to is definitely from Fate. Yeah,
Is it a dude or is it a woman?
it's a dude.
I have to ask. It's fate. They change all the men to women.
They change everybody to everybody.
I think the only exception is that like Thomas. I think it's like Thomas Edison is a lion.
Is it really so crazy to hope?
Oh, that might be an improvement.
I guess it'll depend on the fandom.
Oh wow.
I don't know. Turning a human into a lion sounds like the funniest shit I've ever seen.
So I actually.
I'm not talking like Narnia lion. I'm talking like fucking furry lion man.
Now,
That's still funny.
So, I was reading through the Ignis description for his DLC, and it directly confirms the power he gets from the ring is greater than that of the king. So, you could unironically argue that Ignis with the ring in the alternate ending is probably the strongest character in 15.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Well, actually, I was thinking, see, when all this is over, I was wondering if...
Yes? What is it?
Lancer is
No, he's talking about
Kukulane, Gable. What?
No, he's talking about Faye at that point. That's a Faye thing.
Yeah, Lancer's Kukulane, Gable reverses cause and effect the opponent's heart. That may or may not work on GER because GER isn't causality manipulation. It's causality manipulation that can trap other causality manipulation users. Like people seem to
manipulation.
Yeah, what people seem to forget about GR is that GR doesn't just loop, even if you can see the future with a high degree of precision and act to erase and change cause and effect, which is literally what King Crimson was doing. And GR still just completely ignored it regardless.
Well, most people forget that Requiem still has the original powers of Gold Experience. They're just heightened.
Yeah, they just kind of don't matter in the face of the other abilities of Requiem. Because the Requiem's exclusive abilities make the standard Gold Experience abilities not that good. I mean, sure, I could shoot you with a high velocity projectile that could spawn scorpions off of your body, but I could also trap you in an infinite loop of causality and cause you to experience infinite pain. That's probably more impactful.
Come on, Raymond. Let's go. You embark on a great quest.
Dave versus Dante. I skill it.
Thank you, Bailey.
Oh. Well, technically depends on the Saber server, but generally speaking, Saber is the name referring to Arthuria, also known as King Arthur, in the 8 Stay Night series. GR versus John Ligma. John Ligma wins. Too strong. GR can stop a lot of things, but it can't stop Ligma.
What about you? What are you going to do when this is over?
Mangler, don't fall for that.
I want to help Lon get back to normal. And I suppose I'll need to help Sophie.
Can't stop Goblin.
She's had painful memories her whole life.
Mingler, I need an answer. Can it stop Goblin?
Don't fall for that either, Ming.
No, no. Then maybe I could. I don't know. The answer to this question.
I'm asking a simple question.
I don't know.
I just need to know if it can stop Goblin.
I guess I did say that. But that was a long time ago.
Stop
I won't do it.
Goblin what, Kyle?
I won't give you the power, you see.
I just take an answer.
No, this is dishonest. I smell lies from here.
All these selfless acts are gonna make me look bad.
Jotaro is deck.
Just take care of Sophie.
I
can't be held responsible for what happened.
I don't scale My Hero Academia.
Jotaro's faster, time skip, heart destruction.
Okay, this is weird. I could have sworn there was more information in this guidebook about the Ring of Lucii. That's weird.
Perhaps you suffered a Mandela effect.
What are you doing, Pascal?
Why are there so many patch notes for this? This is a demo.
Wait, what the hell? Is this a
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm gonna have to research that later. I didn't even realize that was a thing.
GR versus the Home Goblins.
I can finish that for you.
Oh my gosh,
Mm.
I'm so worried about you.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Either win side, extremely high difficulty. Diff to losses depending on which version. You probably could have worded that better.
You are my big sister.
Naturally.
If something happened to you, I don't know what I'd do.
You are my big sister.
Pascal,
If something happened to you,
I guess someone has to
don't know
keep
what
an eye
I'd do.
and make sure you take
Pascal.
bad blood.
Well, I
It's
guess
two
someone
baths
has
a
to
week
keep an
now.
eye on you.
Whether I need him or
Make
not.
sure you take baths and
Two
the like.
baths a week.
Hey, I take 2 baths a week now, whether I need them or not.
So clueless every
Now here we
day.
go. Where's the ring at?
How can someone be so
Well, somebody
brilliant
will
in the
finish
lab
up
and so
here.
clueless
You
everywhere
go get some
else?
sleep.
Why do these games always start with being a broken wretch?
Bro.
Take a bath.
Some sleep.
No,
Dump a
but
bucket
you
of
know
water
how
in your
late it is.
drop you to the bed. You
Take
okay,
a bath
sis?
and get some sleep, or I'll dump a bucket of water on your head and strap you to the bed. You okay, sis?
Sleep well, Pascal. Alright then, let's get to work. We'll show the world what a Martians are capable of.
All right then, let's
Yes,
get to
ma'am.
work.
We'll take
show
care of
the
everything.
world what a
You
Martians are
two just
capable
worry
of.
about waking up on time.
Yes, ma'am.
Aw,
We'll
thanks,
take care of
guys.
everything. You two just worry
better
about
get to
waking up
bed.
on time.
Don't stay up too late.
Aw, thanks, guys. I better get to bed. Don't stay up too late, Asbel.
This feels like a climax.
Over you'll know. It'll be quite loud.
Still awake?
Yep.
Oh, one's dead.
Captain Malik, I don't want Sophie or Richard to die. I want to save them both. Is that asking for too much?
It's important to feel compassion for
Also, thanks to Mangler reminding me that Blaze Blue exists. Whenever Malik talks, all I hear is Iron Tiger.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
We can do this.
I hear Iron Taker talk. The only thing I remember one Britannian fucking reporter dude from Code Geass. And if not him, I just heard Muramasa from. So I was half expecting Taker to be like, to start ranting and raving about how he was gonna free the Zanpakuto and working for Sector 7. Oh, I'm bleeding. Oh no. Oh no. No.
Huh, that's weird.
This is trash. Astoria Avalon, for example, I think has the best shot due to be scaling Oberon, who is comparable in power and existence to Ultimate when correct theologically speaking. Doesn't add anything.
I could have sworn there was more descriptions in here for the DLC. Interesting. Weird. It might be in the guidebook then. Or not the guidebook, the novel then. Yeah, because for some... Oh, no. Hang on. Hold on. Is there... I could have sworn there was a section in this guidebook specifically for the fucking DLC. Huh, weird.
Someone's late?
Sorry, I didn't realize everyone else was.
Slipped okay?
Someone's late?
Sorry, I didn't realize everyone else was here.
You slipped okay?
We should get going.
Look.
Look.
Come to see us off.
That is strange.
All of
Come
you.
to see us
And
off.
don't worry about us. We'll be fine. We shall all
Please be
believe
careful.
you'll return.
All of you.
Good luck,
And don't
everyone.
worry about us.
We'll be praying for
We'll
your
be fine.
safety. Do what you
We
must
shall
and then
humbly
get
wait
back
your
here.
return.
And don't you
Good
dare
luck,
die on
everyone.
me.
We'll be
Farewell,
praying for your
young
safety.
master.
Do what you must and then get back here. And don't you dare die on me.
All right.
Travel
We're
well,
off to the
young
Lost Talia.
masters.
Thanks, everyone. All right, we're off to the Lustalia.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up that scan later then. It's probably another one of the guidebooks. I could have sworn it was in this one though. Whack. Weird. Doesn't mention much about this. Doesn't mention much about the ring though. So yeah. Yeah, there is a line there saying that Arden's powers seemingly rival that of the Six, but I believe there is a better statement somewhere, I think in the novel. But yeah. I mean, oh, Mingler went to sleep. Went to slumber.
Chance to make things right.
You said
I see.
like entering Lambda himself, yeah?
I will say regarding Noctis, technically he should scale the Gladio, and Gladio can keep up with...
should.
Well, I mean like skill-wise, because Core and Gladio are able to fight Gilgamesh and beat him. Well, Core technically doesn't beat Gilgamesh, but he is able to slice off his arm. And Core directly states that Gilgamesh seems to peer into someone's soul to see what their moves are going to be. So he has precognition. So, with that in mind, there'd be no scenario where Bayonetta could realistically hit Noctis unless we just assume she vastly outscales him. And they were never heard from again. Yep.
Finally.
Welcome back.
Yep. Oh. It's like I get banished to the Shadow Realm.
I can't believe how big this is.
I saw some
The ruins on the
documents on
surface
phones.
continue
It
all the way
outlined a
down.
big plan
So
for
my
moving
theory
the
was
Nostalgia.
right.
Nope, the
I saw
exact
some
opposite.
documents on
Full.
folder
Thinking the
that
Muslim
outlined a big
president
plan for
moved
moving the
a
Nostalgia.
water folder and into
The
a
exact
Yeah.
opposite.
Bayonetta I don't think fights anyone with precog, unless you want to argue Azir having precog. I mean, I guess you could argue that that Singularity has some variation of precog, but I wouldn't really count that as precog, because it's more so him trying to create
I
a
wouldn't
future.
say so. I would more so say that what he's doing is that he's just reality warping, manipulating laws and probability. And through that advancement, he's outcomes are about to happen.
Yeah.
That, and he's also probably the smart entire Bayonetta verse outside of people who are like directly omniscient. So he wouldn't need to predict the future because he could just build a piece of technology that could tell him what the future could do. So the weirdest part about Singularity is that he is unironically like what Bayonetta Scalar idea is in terms of like hacks in his existence, and everyone uses him as an attempt to upscale the other gods when in reality he would kick the shit out of the other gods. Like he is de facto final boss of the series. He has way better powers and abilities, and he has way more interesting lore, and he's a better character.
Hey Zim, do you want some more soul manipulation?
What? Soul manipulation? What do you mean? Did our boy finally get some soul manipulation? No, it's Sophie.
What did I tell you about taking people's souls again? Not supposed to do that.
Well, if they didn't want me to have it, they should have fought harder to keep it in their body.
Well, what do you think about this?
A master art in which Sophie surrounds herself with spirits and executes high-speed charge. Sounds pretty good. So why can't your brother have that?
Because he doesn't get the girl, he doesn't get the town, and he doesn't get any hacks.
So what happens if Isabel do this?
Yeah, the world just gets destroyed, basically.
Didn't Did we already talk about Aesir being the most powerful out of the 3 final bosses? Yeah, but that was until Bayonetta 3.
No,
Long.
he was saying Singularity is stronger than them.
Oh. Well, yeah, I've always been of the position Singular is more powerful than they were because he had better statements and feats. Because the only characters that actually have the feats of having powers to wipe out the Trinity is Beleus and Singularity. You the full power of the eyes of the world, but that's like the full apex of his abilities. Whereas like Singularities can do the same thing with snap his fingers. And we're not even like sure if that's just referring to the definition form or if that's any of the existing forms.
The problem with Singularity's abilities is that we do see that he kills the Bayonetta and that destroys the world. So like, it's not even quite sure what he himself can do. I mean, obviously he demonstrates a lot of good powers, but like,
He just absorbs their energy directly.
yeah, but then that destroys the world. It's not that the world just like he doesn't like destroy the world.
Oh no! I like for sure. Like he could destroy it. I'm not saying he goes around destroying the universe. The energy. So.
You performed reasonably as well.
Yes.
His absorption is actually really cracked because when he absorbs you, you are erased from existence completely. He has 2 different types of existence erasure. He has absorption existence erasure, and then he just has, normal existence erasure from little clouds that he can apparently spew out everywhere, that his own troops are unaffected by.
Let's keep moving.
Yeah, but Singularity was a pretty cool design, I would say, across the board. I've always been a fan of how Singularity looked. I just wish the game was running a little bit better.
I don't anticipate a challenge.
Back.
Welcome back.
Finally.
Yeah. I mean, Bayonetta's final bosses always had good designs, I feel like. It's just that, they didn't really have the impact they should have. I was never really blown away by Jubileus. Aesir was a little better, but, like, just didn't really have the spark there.
Oh, it's because you never fought Aesir, you fought Lopta.
Wow.
He fought the fraudulent Aesir.
John Bayonetta versus John Final Fantasy. What the fuck? Oh yeah, did The Witcher 4, did The Witcher live action already come to an end, or are they still doing season 4?
No, fucking I hope not. Yeah, I saw the anime movie Sirens of the Deep a couple of weeks ago. Man, that was dog shit. It was cool that they got the original Geralt voice actor to do the role for it, but oh boy. It turned a very simple short story into an amalgamation of bullshit.
Aesir versus Jubileus. Technically, Jubileus has a better statement, but Aesir would have higher scaling from fighting on older Bayonetta, technically.
You can be such a child. You're both too cool for win quotes?
I'm a triplet?
Of course.
I am not your sister, Azazel.
Aww. Naruto versus Mark from Invincible. I'm pretty sure Naruto wins after a certain point.
I don't know Invincible scaling.
Oh, when Zim was talking about what was his face? Aesir versus Jubileus. Mentioned something about, what was it? Bayonetta might be stronger. Bayonetta 2? Something like that?
Yes.
So there is a statement in the strategy guide for Bayonetta 1 that confirms that Bayo, during the events of the first game, is at her peak. Like, she's in her prime, and she gets back her memories. So, since we don't have any statements that she gets any stronger, or that Umbran Witches can, like, strictly increase magic power overnight, unless she gets a power boost during Bayonetta 2 from someone or something directly, which I don't believe she does, she's at the exact same level of power in Bayonetta 2 that she is in Bayonetta 1. Fortunately, Bayonetta 3 makes this a consistent thing because all the Bayonettas in the universe scale to each other, as they're all capable of performing the same feats.
I see. Baba, do you think the consciousness of Alex J. Mercer had remained within the Black Light virus that had infested his corpse?
I'm not sure. Because the virus is just... The virus is just a virus that's taken the form of a person. So...
But yeah. No, regarding Invincible scaling, they barely scale at planet level. So it's really going to come down to what you want to accept for speed. Unless you want to take that balance.
It's going to come down to what you want to accept for what Invincible scales to.
No, it really shouldn't matter. Because, I mean, if you scale Naruto the way Kyle does, where he gets a Uni Plus by the end, then Naruto by the end of the series would just AP stomp. Even if
Well, I say that because I've seen a document floating around for Invincible, and there's some pretty nutty shit in there.
Nothing that would scale the Universal, though. The only thing you have, you would only have a crossover special, unless you want to argue every version of Spawn's fucking Universal or some bullshit like that.
I don't know enough about Spawn to make an accurate guess on that.
What's this I hear about every...
Well, I'm so...
Hang on a minute there.
Well, so in
Mangler, are you telling me you don't buy every spawn being universal?
So let's be reasonable, Zing.
Well, what I'm saying specifically is that outside of a crossover fight and the spawn fight, because I think one of the marks beats a spawn, then there is no uni arguments unless you want to argue that every version of Spawn, including the Invincible Spawn, would just scale to uni because he's Spawn.
Actually, I had no idea that Invincible ever crossed over with Spawn.
So the Invincible War specifically was a crossover with a lot of the IPs of Image Comics, but for the anime,
And
whatever. But for the anime, they got rid of it. Space Racer blew up a star in the show. Yes, but the way Space Racer blows up the star is he fires a beam that goes through everything in its path, and the beam hits a star, and I believe the star explodes because its core gets fucked with. Even then, I don't think the Viltrumites can survive Space Racer's beam.
Your sword skills are amazing.
Thanks. I'll use them to protect us all.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Sonic crossed over with the DC universe, and apparently Sonic was faster in the Flash.
It wasn't just that. Apparently, I think there's a point where Darkseid. There's a scene where Darkseid is hunting down the Chaos Emeralds because he wants to use them for the anti-life equation.
Does Eggman not appear in this crossover, bro? Or is it what's Eggman?
I don't know, but when I saw that, I was like, "Mo, that's like the funniest shit I've ever seen."
Oh, here we go. It all starts with this: a gem containing the ultimate power. All right, confirmed. Sonic scales above the DC cosmology. Confirmed.
Damn.
I think Knuckles could fight Superman actually too.
He's probably a better fighter than Superman is.
And now you can always imagine that Idris Elba's voice comes out of Knuckles whenever he's fighting Superman.
Bruh.
Does Idris Elba voice Knuckles?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, in the movie.
I never saw the Sonic movies.
They are a very good time.
Hellspawn's being universal is the same as everyone claiming a Space Marine is city level. No, because there's at least an argument for Space Marines being city level. It's not.
Get him.
It's not very.
Get him, Mangler.
But there's at least a position there.
There is no position there. Titans aren't even city level.
Mangler, there is a position for that argument.
Bro, you did not say Primarch. You did not say Grey Knight. You said Space Marine.
I said Space Marine. Why would I say Primarchs when Primarchs obviously scale to solar system?
I'm gonna end this trash.
Well, while you're here, why don't you explain how Master Chief beats the Doomslayer?
Do I have to?
Only if you feel inclined.
I guess just any of his Forerunner between 6 or 7 default ones between bolt shots, suppressors, light rifles, scatter shots, binary rifles, and incineration cannons. He also with cinder shot as well. And so those seem to have some kind of like ionic pulse. The other ones have like a negative isotopes. Basically, all of them deconstruct you, but they deconstruct you through different means. The smart matter just gets shot into your body at extremely high speeds and just breaks down your atomic structure by force. technically shooting. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure on the science of it, but the ionized particle things from like the bolt shot should just be interrupting the charges of whatever the particles of your atomic structure are. So any negative particles or like electrons are probably just going to get dispersed, and that's what results in your structure getting disassemblated. And then in the case of negative isotopes like the incineration cannons and the binary rifles, you're basically just getting hit directly with antimatter, which results in your entire material structure getting like, dismantled.
Pretty sure.
All of them.
Oh no, go on. You can go to finish. I thought you were done.
Yeah, all of them are different forms of deconstruction, and Doomslayer doesn't really have instances of that, let alone 3 different types of deconstruction.
Pretty sure Thrag does. Yeah, Thrag scaling's inconsistent though, so it's not even worth mentioning about Thrag. So I'd like to be clear. Thrag is vastly stronger than all of the Viltrumites to a massive degree, but when 5 Viltrumites gang up on him, they beat the shit out of him. Can all TMT scale to universal? I don't think so, but I'm not a TMT scaler. Daily reminder that people in the 40k community think a librarian can beat Darth Vader.
Yeah, that's a take. I mean, to be fair to them, like, warp fire is really fucking annoying to deal with. But, you have to actually hit the target. And you're probably not hitting Darth Vader if you're a librarian. So, in terms of skills, Master Chief kind of outscales Doomslayer pretty. He's a significantly better warrior. He's got like reflex you could imagine. Computer with his able to predict effectively anything that Doomslayer can do. He has significantly greater speeds as he does scale to things, at least at the speed of light, if not faster than that. And Doomslayer kind of just has like massively hypersonic speeds. Actually, I'm not even sure if it's hypersonic. He kind of just has like hypersonic.
Yeah, I think that they don't fuck with immeasurable. So where would they even put the Doomslayer speed?
MFTL. They're just gonna argue he scales to the wings of the Con Maker.
I need context for that.
I'm sorry, what?
I need context for that.
Okay. Con Maker are basically eternal that have been existing in the Urdak dimension, and they've been building technology to observe the infinite multiverse. And they essentially came to the conclusion that there was one constant in the multiverse, being the Doomslayer, and he was essentially going to wreak havoc on Hell and bring it into it. So they decided to stop him because that was directly in the way of like their plan for reviving the father or something. I don't remember their exact. The point is that they're essentially supposed to observe things throughout Father's creation. And they have a statement that they basically use their wings to travel creation. In the game, when you fight one of the Con Makers, she activates the wings, she flies up to you, and she uses them to open a portal and then use to travel between areas in the boss fights. So when they say that they're using the wings to travel across creation, keep in mind they have the ability to intermittent dimensionally travel across the multiverse through space and time through a portal. So you would never assume they're just like raw speed wing.
So is this like a Valkyrie situation?
You would never assume that they are traveling with raw speed. Bullshit technology that can take them anywhere.
Right, doing Cellcross. Is Hell 6D or something placed in Doom? Hell being 6D in Doom's a little weird. Because I've heard the argument for it, but it's a little... It's a little weird because it's kind of... It's similar to Bayonetta's position, but with a little more evidence to work with.
The 6D the sixth dimension argument is kind of dog shit, specifically because it comes from the position that Urdak is stated to be the sixth dimension, but it's just called the sixth dimension in the sense that it's numerically labeled dimension. Like Doom, so in the Doom universe, they label dimensions based on when they were created. So if you consider the third dimension plane, but because you're the third one in sequence that was made.
Oh my god, Hohenheim. Are you laughing because you know the reference? Or...
Yeah, because that's the guy from Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah, I've seen clips about him. He looks exactly like him.
Oh my god.
It's Hohenheim.
That's wild.
It's the Philosopher's Stone, right?
Yes.
Oh god, such a creepy smile.
I know it feels strange at first, but in time you'll learn how to smile on your own.
I've seen you walk, you don't need that.
Doom guy, Triggeroga, I don't care what he thinks. Hell's 40 to 5e. Hell reasonably only scales to the multiverse the most, because like they make it clear the demon incursions on Mars are considered fourth dimensional events. They're not fifth dimensional. And even then, Doom doesn't really have the it's needed to prove like higher dimensionality. The dimensions in Doom aren't really needed either.
So you consider it unethical for me to teach this child how to laugh, or even if I show him what it means to cry?
Well, it is better evidence than Bayo, because at least they have statements for something.
Of course it's unethical. The point remains this body was provided merely as a convenience for our continued research.
A body may influence a soul just as a soul can.
Bayo has better 5D from what I've seen, in no universe, unfortunately. Out of the infinite possibilities of the world of chaos, not a single one of them has produced a 5D argument.
What about the diamond on the book?
How about you, Yeah, I don't have a retort for that. Diamonds suck. How about that?
Diamonds are unbreakable.
Did you say diamonds are unbreakable, bro?
No part 4. No part 4 will save you here. 5D is a high end for Hell, but 40 is more consistent though. There's no high end, so when you argue that something's tier 1, you have to prove that dimensions have more volume, in that they're quantitatively bigger, and that they're stronger than the existing space. Like the actual and the substance is more powerful, as in they're qualitatively big. Also treated as a higher space. Top of them embedding the higher structures, or the lower structures inside of themselves, and a few other things. Doom hasn't neat things, unfortunately. The only thing it's proven is that its dimensions separated from each other by space and time. And that's it. Or we it's still a 5D, but that would mainly be man. I mean, so this is the problem, is that you can have statements like Halo has statements that slip space is considered an 11th-dimensional space-time, but like maybe 20 or 30 or 50,000th dimensional, it would still only be as powerful like a
Look it out there. But Kyle,
40 space, if it was proven to just be like. Can you hear me?
Yeah, finish your thought. You cut out for a few seconds there.
I was gonna say it's even having a direct numerical statement doesn't do anything to prove the relationships. So, like, what you would need volume and things and you to do the seem to bend normal space times. Evidence that it be dimension. It is stronger than 4D constructs exist typically. But it would just occupy like 7 more dimensional coordinate access points.
Yes. But Kyle, curious, if diamonds are unbreakable, then why was fucking Jotaro able to break those teeth that were as hard as diamonds? Curious.
Because he has the same type of stand.
The domain, I would say, is probably a better example for higher dimensionality because it's treated as the higher realm, and like space and time is things that you can like interact with freely. And there are higher, lower levels of the domain. Ooh.
Can Doomslayer even counter Master Chief's luck?
What does he have? Does he have luck manipulation?
Luck? No. So the only thing, so what the Doomslayer has is that he specifically has to like fate, I guess, precog. Maker is basically their infinite conscious mind, their collective conscious mind to possibilities. Basically found out that the only constant in the multiverse is the Doomslayer. No matter what possibility they exercise, he will always be the constant that arrives to destroy the demons.
That would be Doom Guy shows up to kill the demons. Doom Slayer is Doom Guy amped. There's a difference.
I'm talking about Slayer.
So even Lambda smiles.
When I was a kid, everyone was always all, oh, there goes that smiling Pascal again.
You don't say.
When I lived in Strata,
Yes. So Master Chief's luck is just kind of defined to be luck that just defies probability. And it also seems to be guided things that exist throughout living time. So generally speaking, he doesn't really have a way to interact with that kind of power. Not really.
You'd like to see me smile?
No.
Damn.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
You want to see me smile? No, I'm used to you being a grumpy turd.
Yeah, no, Master Chief has, he just has absurd luck. I think Cortana makes some statements about his luck being like, even with calculations of like 1 to like 1,000,000 or some bullshit like that, you know, you still somehow manage to keep pulling it off.
He says that after the event one, I stopped calculating your chances of survival because they defy probability. Because you shouldn't even be alive, basically. So I'm just gonna stop running simulations on whether or not you're gonna die, because it's pointless. I would like to point out Cortana. So Cortana is generational capable of running like 34.5 quadrillion quantum calculations for the recreation of a space bubble, which is essentially a quantum field that replicates the effects of our universe. And she's capable of performing the formula and comprehending the formula for this and performing the systems 34 point something trillion times a second. She is breathing for her. And yet, she's
Mangler, you cut out again.
she considers it exasperating and more or less this to calculate Master Chief's rate. That's how bullshit his luck is.
Some people say Doomslayer's weapons and armor only work
No.
on demons, meaning they will not work on Master Chief because he's not a demon. Only the BFG should not work on Master Chief. Everything else should be fair game.
That largely depends on like what weapons we're talking about, because a lot of weapons just use RNG, and there are statements for producing like really high temperatures and like just really high amounts of force. Yeah, some of them are designed to target demons, but some of them aren't.
Well, that's
So
why
it's
only
yeah.
the BFG would have that issue, as far as I can tell.
There's also there are some weapons. If you're including weapons from original weapons you got from, I guess, Eternal and Slayer, he has a weapon, the Unmaker, I think, but that one's also an anti-demon weapon. Ooh. There's also a genuine possibility that you can argue Quartz hack is Vega's hyped up to have amounts of CM protection, but I don't think any amount of protection can save you from an AI that can absorb 100,000 or eons and eons worth of information. I mean, their hacking abilities are kind of absurd.
Yep, he's silly.
I'm sorry, fucking Malik, stop.
Hey, Kairos art generates a whirlwind of void and light that may eradicate weak enemies. Alright, so void manipulation. Understood.
Malik, stop being the most based thing in the game.
Mangler, not that you know you're not welcome, but like, isn't it about to be like 6 a.m. where you're at? Shouldn't you be trying to get some sleep?
Can't sleep.
All right, that's fair. We are not. Shut the fuck up, Kyle.
What?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something about you not being able to sleep. What sword is better, the energy sword or the crucible sword? I do not know enough about the crucible sword to talk about that. I say Mangler would know about the energy sword, but I think it's just superheated plasma.
It is just superheated plasma. Crucible is only useful if you want to kill immortals. Otherwise, it's just a glorified energy. I mean, glorified energy sword in comparison to the covenant energy sword, just that has pure energy.
Yes. And I believe, or whatchamacallit, not that, Brutes into putting down their gravity hammers later on.
Yes, and their forearms. And their everything.
Did they end up gaining on their forearms too? I don't remember that in Halo Wars 2.
Well, I think it was either that or many of the banished higher-ups decided to give themselves arm bullets. My ride. So this time it's my armor.
We won't fail.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting sleepy now.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed.
Alright, man.
Unless you have a question before.
If we have questions, I'll be sure to send them your way, and I'll give them responses next time.
Right. Sleepy time now.
Have a nice night. Kyle, I was actually gonna say, if you want to just save it now or save it before the final boss battle, so that way we can do it like on the next stream to finish it off. I think that battle will say Doomslayer wins because he kills the gods of the verse and Master Chief never did it. Yeah, probably. Alright. You want to call here for a day and then finish off this puzzle in the game next time? Or do you want to try the puzzle a bit further?
I don't care.
Alright, we'll probably just call it here for a day since Mangler already left and we had him for almost the whole stream. So, we'll end the stream here today. And as far as I know, for normal videos, there might be something coming out this week, depending on how much time I have. I'm picking up some extra hours at work because I got to pay off my credit card. I believe Kyle's currently working on the Bakugan video still, but I don't think that's coming out quite anytime soon.
The voicing is all done. I just need to collect scans.
Alright. So, with that said, thank you guys for your time as always. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys on the next stream or video. Take care, everybody, and have yourselves a nice night.